Hi guys, welcome to Artmosphere 4.0. In this session, I will be speaking with Yaa Boateng on managing creatives to meet project timelines. Yaa Boateng has over 15 years of working experience in advertising. She rose through the ranks of junior designer and became the first and only creative designer within WPP Scangroup in Africa during her time at Scanat Ghana. Yaa is one of 15 women selected globally, the first Ghanaian and the only African in 2019 to be a part of Cannes Lions See It Be It initiative to inspire, support, and bridge the gender gap by accelerating the next generation of senior level women in the creative industry. So to start off, I know I've already given this little introduction, but can you tell us who you are and what exactly you do?
Hi, thank you for having me here. So like you said, I'm Yaa Boateng. I'm a creative and brand specialist. I must say I'm truly blessed to do what I love for a living. Over the last 15 years, I've turned what I enjoy, that is art, playing with colors, listening to stories, watching ads as a young age, and wanting to know how they do these things. And that's what I'm doing today as a profession. I work in advertising, and like I said, I'm a brand and creative consultant, but I'm a creative director with a design background. Beyond that, I'm interested in all aspects of creativity. So that's who Yaa is.
Can I ask what school you went to, or where did you learn design?
Okay, so I went to Achimota School. That is where I started my design work. I started as a visual arts student in Achimota School. It was something that I loved. And I continued after school. I went to the Arts Institute of Bournemouth, and I continued to pursue my studies in graphic design. Yes, so that's where I went to school. So started from Achimota School, and then I went to the Arts Institute in Bournemouth.
All right. What would you say are your daily inspirations?
I would say current trends in our culture. So it's amazing how things that happen around us on a daily could get your creative juices flowing and also spark ideas. So what happens around you informs your creativity. Let me give you an example. We're in this pandemic now, and the way our conversations as advertisers and brands has completely changed. And it's all because of what's happening around us. Now we're very, very sensitive to how we push to our potential buyers. All that has changed. I don't know if you remember some years back, there was this thing that was trending that somebody said, who said chia?
Right.
It was just something that happened, but everybody picked up on it and it became meme. It became like, you see it in ads, you see it even in movies. That's why I said it's amazing how things around you informs creativity. And through this, people have gotten very creative on even social media. Something happens today, like the Swish challenge, and now everybody's doing it. The Don't Rush challenge. Like you realize that you start informing these little things in your creativity. So the question is, what is new and how can you play on that? Apart from that, our culture, you listen to our music, our dance and our dance trends, our fashion, it can inform your creativity. So for me, current trends and culture, that's what inspires me every day. You just watch. We are getting into the political season. You see, so I know somebody will say something, it becomes a whole campaign. So let's just watch this space. So for me, that's what it is daily trends or our current trends and in our culture. That's what inspires me.
All right. Do you have a creative mantra?
I kind of do. It's yes, I do have one. It's more of something that I wouldn't even say it's just a creative mantra. It's a mantra for me. I always say, always do better than you did last. That's what I tell myself all the time. We tend to get comfortable where we are, and we just love to stay there. And as much as some people feel like comfortable is okay, I found my space, I feel it's not good enough. you should always stay relevant. You should always do better. I'll give you an example. The kind of energy and vibe, you put in your campaign, your last campaign, that shouldn't be the same vibe you put in the new one. You shouldn't say, oh, because this campaign did so well, this is what it is, and you are okay with that, and be like, oh, I'm the one who did this ad. No, you should always do better than you did before. And in the same way, even if you did a campaign that was, super amazing, you should see how you're going to make the other one better. If you fail in one, you learn from that. You pick yourself up and say, okay, you know what, these were the little mistakes that I did. And that's what you call like postmortems of like, a campaign. You look at it, see the things that you did wrong, and then later you pick up on those things and then improve on that. So you will make a mistake, you will fall, you learn, do better, and then you rise. So you should never, never live on your past glory. So for me, every time I tell myself, do better than you did last, just do better.
Do better than you did last. Okay, we're gonna jump into some more creative project management questions.
Ooh, okay.
So first one is, how would you how would you define creative project management?
It's actually seeing and managing projects, within an agency from start to finish. So from the moment the agency gets the brief from the client, that is where it starts till it gets finished. So, managing it, looking at schedules, controlling, coordinating from end to end. That is creative project management. So in the agency point of view. So from the moment you get the brief from the client, that's when the green light goes. From then to it gets finished, even with the stop gaps, the hold and all of that is still in there. So it's how you manage those projects. That is what creative project management is.
And to piggyback off your answer, how does an agency manage these projects?
Okay, so when you look at the scope of an agency, you have different departments. So you have your creative department, you have your account management department, you have your media department, you have finance, you have admin, you have digital. The same way, agencies have a traffic department. So when it comes to the traffic department, it's like the traffic light system, how you have your red, amber, and green to bring law and order in our roads. It's the same thing. The traffic department is supposed to bring some kind of order in the way we manage our projects. So the traffic department is usually responsible for managing the flow of work, just to ensure that whatever project you get or whatever project lands on your table is completed and delivered on time. Now, to ensure like these projects are completed and within the budget as well. So they do that. So they do both managing that project, making sure it gets to the, so when the account management team bring the brief, they go to the traffic department, it's briefed in. They make the traffic department make sure they brief it in to the creative department. Same way, they are also managing and making sure when we are coming up with ideas. So when we are executing, making sure that we stay within the budget, because obviously the client is giving us a budget to work with. Traffic managers, they are usually the middlemen between creatives and account management, and they usually bring peace. Every time you work in an agency, you always have the suits arguing with the creatives. It happens all the time. So this is where the traffic person comes in to make sure there's law and order, because something will happen and it's like, no, is this person's fault? Is that person's fault? So the traffic department is coordinating and making sure all this doesn't happen and it's jumbled all over the place. You get what I mean? Just like I said with a normal traffic light, to bring law and order. So that's what the traffic department usually does. So every agency should have a traffic department or a traffic manager.
Okay, can you tell us about one successful project you've managed, the process involved, the challenges, and how to deal with them?
This is going to be very I've worked on quite a few projects that are really, 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 and I okay, let me just narrow it to I think
Okay.
I will talk about the Two Ghana campaign. I don't know if you know about the Two Ghana campaign. It was Vodafone Two Ghana campaign. It was the one with the mother-in-law. So yeah, the mother-in-law. You don't remember that one? Okay. So this was back in 2015. So
Okay.
back in 2012, Vodafone introduced this tariff, which was the One Ghana campaign, the One Ghana tariff. I don't know if you remember that ad, One Ghana for your pocket, with the guy in the bathhouse.
Yes.
And yes, so that was the first one. And 3 years down the line, they introduced the Two Ghana campaign. So what a client charged the agency to do is to focus on the validity of the 2 days, because for One Ghana it was 1 day, for Two Ghana it was 2 days. And they had given us, or they had given the customer more data and more airtime, and it could last for 2 days. Now, from the onset, when we got the brief, it was like, how is this going to be relevant to our target? Obviously, when you get a brief, you need to figure that out. Like, when you're coming up with your idea, is it culturally relevant? Is it looking at consumer insights and all of that, making sure that it doesn't go over the heads of your target. Now, I'm going back to what I told you when it comes to cultural trends and current trends in our culture. So we went back to think about it, and this thing with wives and their mothers-in-law. You know how it is. So we said, okay, some wives usually run away from their mothers-in-law when they are coming to the house, or they're coming to give advice, that kind of thing. So we thought, okay, I think this idea would be really cool. So apart from that fact, we came up with several ideas. Anytime you're going to a client, you never present them with just one idea. We came up with several ideas, and the clients bought into the mother-in-law. So we had an idea of who this mother-in-law should be. And in our culture, we decided to go with a fancy mother-in-law. How they are very prim, very proper, they're posh, and they are able to deliver. You know what I mean? Like the fancies, how they are. So the idea was to use a mother-in-law who gives her son's new wife instructions on how to take care of him, because nobody can take care of my son. So I am going to advise you. So this is
right.
Yes. And this was the idea. So obviously, when the clients bought the idea, we spoke to the production house, they came in, and we went through auditions. Auditions are usually my favorite part. It can take long, but it's usually my favorite part, because you have different characters coming in. You have some, just giving you OTT, over the top stuff. You have some that, mellow. It's just very interesting in the room when, you're going through all these different characters walking into the agency. So we had to do that for the mother-in-law. We had to audition the wife. We had to audition the son. Then after that, you start looking at obviously, because of our target, how would they relate with the target? So you look at the location. So looking at locations, different types of locations, making sure it's either not too high, the LSM, or not too low, it just fits right. And then also apart from the location, the look and feel, the inside of the home of the mother-in-law. And I don't know if you remember in this ad. I wish you could show it. It shows when the screen opens, so the mother-in-law in her living room, she has loads of pictures of she and her son. It's like, yes, my pride and joy. And she chances upon the wedding photo.
The one picture.
Yes, and it's like, I'm now going to, give this woman instructions on how to look after my son. And because of the tariff, she actually looks into camera and says, thanks to the Vodafone 2 Ghana, tariff, I have 2 whole days to talk. So that was interesting. Usually shoots can go either 2-3 days. This one was a day shoot, but it started like really, really early hours of the morning through to the late hours of the evening. And you see, when you're on set, there are certain things that you need to take into consideration. You're losing light. You're losing, you're losing light, sorry. Then you have other things of, oh, we haven't shot this, we haven't done this. It's just, it can go all hectic on there. It wasn't so, I think the only thing that was probably a challenge was with the models, those who were acting, because when you're shooting ads and you don't have to speak, it's very, very easy to shoot. It's just, this scene, you look at your sheets, this scene, that, yeah. But when you have to talk, or when you have to speak, you need to articulate properly. The whole room has to be quiet so they can pick all the sounds. And for Two Ghana, the lady we used had never acted before. This was her first time. So looking into a camera is not easy. Right. Even
right.
this, you know what I mean? It's not easy. So just imagine you have the whole crew and you have lights and the boom mic and all of that. Yeah. And this was her first time. She was so nervous. So we had to be like really, really, really patient with her. And these were some of the things that, probably delayed and dragged a little bit. And like I said, you're losing light. You have to make sure you get certain scenes right, the angles and all of that. It wasn't so much of a challenge, but it was very interesting. The reason why it was challenging for me, this was my first campaign as a creative director. The first project I ever worked on as a creative director was the Two Ghana. So there was a lot riding on it. Like, okay, they just made me creative director, and I had to like kind of prove myself, like, you know what, I can actually do this. So the good thing was it was a brilliant campaign. Like, people loved it. Like it did well for the clients. Vodafone was very happy with it. It was a brilliant campaign. So yes, I don't know if I was able to answer most of the questions.
Yeah, you got everything.
Yes, that was it for the Two Ghana campaign. Yes, that was my first campaign as a creative director, and it was challenging, but at the end of the day, it came out great.
How do you effectively schedule tasks without creating conflict?
This is it's a very, very important question you've asked me, because it happens all the time. Basically, by having clearly defined roles and everybody knowing what they're supposed to do. You can't be an account manager and you're sitting there waiting for a graphic designer to deliver your presentation. It doesn't work that way. The same way a copywriter cannot say, I'm not going to oversee the copy, and then the headline and the body copy goes to the client without the copywriter looking at it. You need to really, really clearly define your roles, like who is doing what, and then fix that. If you are done with what you're supposed to do and you want to help, that's fine. I'll give you an example of what happened. This is back in 2005. Oh gosh, I'm showing you my age. So this is back in 2005. We were working on this event for our clients who called us in the last minute. It was Nestle, I remember. They called us in the last minute that they needed something for an event. And back in the day, you have 360 agencies where they do traditional print, they do printing, everything, and our agency did everything. So in the rush of trying to get things together, we came together as a team and said, you know what, all hands on deck. We're going to print some folders and we're going to do some banners and this and that. Like, it was for an event. So we all came together and said, it doesn't matter what role you're doing, just help. You think that was the best way to do it. It was the wrongest and the biggest mistake we ever did. And I explained to you why. Us coming together, saying that we're a team, we're coming to work and do this together, that was the biggest mistake we ever made. Because like I said, you need to clearly define roles. We forgot about what somebody was supposed to do. We all just came together and said we are doing it. So the client's event was supposed to start at 7, was it like 7 a.m.? That's when we're supposed to deliver the stuff to the hotel where they're doing the event. And we were pumped and we had all the energy. We're playing music in the studio. We are like, yes, we're going. And we started working from like, I think it was like 6 p.m. So we said, okay, this person is supposed to fold. This is supposed to do this is supposed to do that. And we had a little nice workshop going for us. And we are singing like workers and like, yeah, we're doing it. And I remember it was around, let's say, 11:30 p.m. Boss came in, the MD of the company just came in to see, his staff have been in the office all this while, and let me see what they're doing. So he comes in, he was really impressed with the way we had done our whole workshop. He was like, oh, you guys, you're doing well. Okay, continue, keep up the good work. As he got to the door, he said, oh, let me pick one of the folders. You won't believe it. It was the word nutrition. We spelled nutrition. So nutrition is Nutrition. We missed the R between the, no, we missed the I between the R and the T. So it was like nutrit, and we missed the I. At that moment, everybody just stopped. Because if the copywriter was looking at what we were doing, we wouldn't have been in this mess. And guess what? It was on everything. No. It was on the banner we printed. And you see, when you send stuff to the print house, they also won't check, because in their minds, the agency has checked all of that. So maybe we've come up with a new way of saying nutrition. So they printed it, and they had gone to hang it at the workshop. The work. Oh my gosh, this day I will not forget. I think we wanted to cry. We all just stopped working. And I remember one of our colleagues was like, look, it's happened. There's nothing we can do. We have to go back to the machine and start again. Just the I. And somebody say, is it on everything? Of course it's on everything. So we had to start all over again. And in that room, the music stopped. The singing stopped.
By force.
It was so quiet. Everybody's just like, and kept on looking at it. Is this spelled correctly? Is it right? And that day, we left the office at 7 a.m. Like, we were so tired. So this is what I'm talking about. If you define your roles, if the copywriter had just said, you know what, I'm not going to help with the folding, let me check every single thing, wouldn't have been in this. And there's so many, I can give you so many examples. It happens all the time. So we just need to really define our roles, what you're supposed to do.
All right. What are the major tools for managing project timelines?
I will always say this traffic department, this traffic system, that is the major one. You need a traffic department. The traffic department, they are always in charge of scheduling, controlling, coordinating, and also admin. They are your agency in one. They follow through from end to end, start to finish. It's imperative that an agency has a traffic department. With that traffic department, you see, they're able to control a lot of things. I'll give you another typical example. We creatives, right? There are times that we have to get into a zone. There's some people who, every creative is different. You can get some projects and then it comes to you like this, you know what to do. The client has briefed you, you know what to do. There's some other projects you get where you need to be in a zone. If you're not in a zone, you produce rubbish work, like work that is not good and is off brief. It happens to us all the time. Now, the whole point of this traffic manager and this traffic department is to control that, because if you leave it up to us, you will not get your work. Trust me. We'll work on something else, and and then when you're in an agency, there are different clients. You have loads of different clients. So I could be working on one particular job. So let's say I'm working on this beautiful event you guys are doing, and I'm supposed to be focusing on let's say the post for social. I'm supposed to be designing that. And maybe you guys are giving some things away. I don't know. And somebody else will come behind and say, oh yeah, this would take only 5 minutes, do it for me. And the 5 minutes turns into 30 minutes. And you have a client waiting for that job. Are you going to tell the client that I was working on something else? It doesn't make sense. So that is why the traffic is imperative to have a traffic department. So they control all of this. And what they usually do is before the account managers come to you, the creatives, they have to go through the traffic department to make sure the job is logged in and not, from the side, we do that a lot, especially account managers. Today I'll trick them. They do that a lot. They'll come, oh, because they have a relationship with you, oh, no, something small, or just take the eye. All that is time. And it feeds into what your other projects as well, what you have to deliver on your other projects as well. So, like, I can't keep saying it. You really need a traffic department. There are times where some agencies don't have traffic departments, but thankfully, times are changing. There are loads of traffic management softwares available. And what happens is, instead of having that traffic department handling that, you have the account managers doing that. So the account managers have a relationship with their designers to say, like, look, this is the job, it comes here, I'll follow up, that whole thing. Sometimes too, the creatives also have it. So they are all in sync and they know when what job is supposed to be delivered and all of that. But I say is the traffic department. That's the major tool for managing your projects and your timelines. They are always on point. And with traffic managers, like I said, they are the in-betweens. So they are the ones who put their foot down and say, no, you can't breathe this in. Or Noko is busy on this job. You can't disturb her. It has to go in the system. So that's how it works. So it's very, very important to have a traffic department.
And to wrap up, do you have any final words for us or for our audience?
Well, it's something I've picked up over the years. Over the years, there's so many things that you pick up as you are in this industry. And recently, I just picked this up. And it's speaking so much to me. And I think somebody may need to hear this as well. Somebody said this to me, and it's something that I've picked up over the years. And just recently, it's speaking a lot to me, and somebody may just need to hear this. So this is all I'll say. The most fascinating brand one will ever work on is yourself. You should always put yourself first and be the best version of you. Not somebody else, be you. We are all on this earth, and we've all been gifted with, something from above. Honor your human gifts and lead by example. Live your truth, live your passion, live your dream. Be yourself.
Beautiful. Yaa Boateng, thank you so much for joining us on Atmosphere 4.0. It's been amazing talking to you. I've learned so much. I feel very inspired, especially by your final words.
I'm glad I did. It was actually very, very interesting. We had a little banter in the beginning, so it was like, okay, but it was a very, very lovely conversation. I enjoyed every bit of it. Thank you so much for having me. And I'll just say, keep up the good work. We don't get a lot of recognition in our industry. So this thing that you guys are doing, well done. Keep doing the good work that you're doing. I'm really proud of you guys.
Thank you.